I just got back from Nepal. 2 weeks of motorcycles, mountains, and chaos. What started as an adventure turned into survival. Riots, burning buildings, government overthrown, landslides, flat tires, and one boulder that missed me by 5 inches. It was that close. Here's the crazy part. While all of this was happening, my account hit a yearly high. From September 4th to the 19th, it grew $510,000. That is $33,000 per day. While flights were grounded and borders slammed shut, my money was still compounding. That is the real power of investing. Now cut 1 zero off. Instead of $510,000, imagine $50,000. Instead of $33,000 per day, imagine $3,300. This is what happens when you build a system and stick to it. The market does not care if you are on vacation, stuck in riots, or dodging falling rocks. Discipline compounds. This is not about luck. My account is over $5 million. I share every trade, every move in Patreon and Discord. The only question is whether you apply it or keep sitting on the sidelines. My Nepal trip shows something powerful. Investing is freedom. Freedom to ride through chaos, to live fully, to be in the middle of a revolution and still watch your account hit new highs. It's not about being glued to the screen. It's about having a system, trusting it, and letting it run. And that system is exactly why I could break through military checkpoints, slip past burning streets, and still sleep at night knowing my money was working. Because my money does not care if you are in the room. It compounds if you have discipline. This trip gave me bruises, scars, and stories, but it also gave me proof. Proof that stacking profits builds the kind of life you actually want to live. Here's the truth. Most investors lose money not in crashes, but in the fear of crashes. Peter Lynch said it best. Far more money has been lost preparing for corrections or anticipating corrections than has been lost in the corrections themselves. Think about that. People sell too early, sit on the sidelines, and wait for the perfect moment. But that perfect moment never comes. The market keeps running and they miss the compounding. That is why I stay invested in fundamentally strong companies I believe in for the long term. And that is why I'm up 67% this year and more than $2.3 million, while so many others let fear push them out of the game. When you ride through rough terrain, you realize it's all about the line you pick. One wrong move on loose rock and you're done. But if you find the right path and stay committed, you get through. Nvidia is the same way. They found their line years ago with CUDA and the AI compute stack, and they have never let go. They dominate data center chips, they own the developer ecosystem, and their pace of innovation leaves everyone else chasing. This is why Nvidia is my second largest holding. I'm not trying to time pullbacks or corrections. I'm betting on the fact that when the world needs AI horsepower, they are the company providing it. That is the line, and I'm staying on it. And on this trip, I caught a flat tire at dusk, 10 kilometers from town. No support truck, no quick fix. The only option was to ride it out. Every bump felt like the bike wanted to throw me, but I stayed steady, pushed through the night, and we made it. In the morning, we fixed it and kept rolling stronger than before. That's Palantir. They had years of pain. They were written off as hype. Everyone said it was not worth the ride, but while others bailed, I stayed on. And look at where we are now. Palantir is my largest holding. Year to date, it is up 143%. Over the past 2 years, it is up 1,090%. That is what happens when you ride through the bumps and stick with conviction. The payoff is massive once traction hits. There's a waterfall in Nepal called Rupsi. 300 feet of pure power exploding off the cliff, soaking everything in mist. You can see it from the road, but here's what the picture does not show. I took my bike into a stretch that was almost impossible just to get into position. Slick rocks, sketchy lines, big drop off which almost happened. Every meter was a fight. Most riders would not even try it, but I muscled through because I wanted that shot. That is meta. On the surface, people just see the power, the billions of users, the unstoppable ad machine, the daily attention. What they do not see is what it took to get there. The algorithm work, the AI ranking, the push to monetize Reels and WhatsApp. Years of grind, most of it invisible. And now it is a waterfall of profits. That is why Meta is one of my core long-term holdings. Once you see that kind of power, you do not walk away. We've talked about the adventure, the lessons, and the fundamentals behind Nvidia, Palantir, and Meta. But just like on the road, it's not only about the big picture. You also need to read the lines right in front of you. That is where technicals come in. So let's pull up the charts and break down where these stocks are right now, the key levels I'm watching, and how I plan to play them moving forward. All right, let's go over the technicals on Nvidia using my indicators. Our first one is the percent change bar at the top. The first section here tells us how much it's up or down over different time frames. So we can see over 1 week it's actually down 0.6%, over 1 month it's up 0.7%, and over 6 months it's up 49%. Continue moving over here, we've got the average trading range is $4.80 a day, which is 3%. So it's common for this stock to move about 3% up or down total over any given day. Our recommended trail stop is based on this number, and that's coming in at 7%, and it tells us our volume is actually up 25% over the last 3 days compared to the previous 30. We've got a beta on this compared to the S&P 500 of 1.9, so this is almost 2 times more volatile than the S&P 500. The Sharpe ratio is something that I watch and love. Anything above a 1 is good. Bright blue is extremely good. It's coming in at 3.2. And then we've got my trade bar here, and this tells us if you had a $10,000 account and you wanted to risk no more than 5%, you'd look at buying about $500 worth of the stock. And then it says, will I risk $36 and buy 3 shares for $530? And this risk is based on your trail stop, which it automatically calculates for you. Our target price would be $194.74. Again, the trail stop shows right here. Our risk to reward 1.5, and our profit per share $18.07 is our target. Looking at the chart right here, we can see we've picked up several J5 buy signals in recent months. We can also see this yellow bar right here. This is called the volume profile on Thinkorswim. It's free, anybody can add it, and this tells us where most of the volume has happened over the last 6 months, and this is a very strong support or resistance line, and right now it's coming in right around $176. That's a really important line that I like to watch. So if you're bullish on the stock and your volume profile line right here is telling you this is a major support area, this is an area I would definitely consider buying. Coming on down farther, we've got the momentum dream indicator. We can see our momentum is currently up. Stacked positive is looking at some different moving averages, and that's a good thing. We've got the implied volatility. It's a good time to consider buying options, and our volume percentile is at 67%. This is also a good time to consider selling options. And then down here on this indicator, what I love is this section to be green, and on our next indicator, the buy sell indicator, we love it to be green on green, and if we pick up a buy signal, that's a bonus. Anytime it's red on red, this is typically a time when we don't want to be in the stock, and you can see the stock was very flat during this time. Green on green, most of it here, it went up. Red on red, it hasn't been a good time to be in the stock, and the chart shows that. And now we're getting very close to what I call a zero line reset. Our strongest buy signals come when we're close to the zero line, which is this line right here, top and bottom. And you can see we haven't been there in some months. We were there several months ago. We picked up a buy signal here, and then the stock went on for a very nice move, and that's what we're looking for. And if you want to try my indicators for free or use them, the links are down below. Next up, we've got Palantir. Same thing here. We can see it's been performing exceptionally well. Over 1 year, it's up 400%. 2 years, 1,090%. Our recommended trail stop is 10%. We show the rough estimate on the net income margin, the beta, the Sharpe ratio, everything's here. Our moving average trend is bullish. We can also see the J5 indicator is bullish, and you can see J5 buy signal here and another buy signal here. Moving on down the chart, we can see on the momentum dream, momentum is positive and we're stacked. And if we come over here, these are what's called momentum squeezes. My group knows that I love these, and these can be great buying opportunities. So we had one here and here. And if we look at the zero line reset, you can see we just had a zero line reset right here. We also popped a buy signal. And just before this happened, I told my group this is a beautiful setup that we've got building here. It's a great opportunity to buy. And you can see the stock, how it's performed since then. It's actually up 6.4% in the last week, and we're green on green, which is what we love. And again, red on red, and you're dead. And most of the time when we see red on red, the stock is pretty flat or going down depending on the overall chart. And now we've got Meta. One thing I haven't pointed out is this 20% pullback. This tells me over the last year, a 20% pullback would be to the $637 mark. So if the stock pulled back that far, I would definitely consider buying it. And that's why I have this up here, so I can always see what that value is as it's pulling back. And I can also set alarms on that. Coming down here for the volume profile, we can see we've got extremely strong support at $701. Definitely an area to watch if it pulls back to. We can also see the stock has been consolidating and and going sideways. If we come down to the momentum dream indicator, momentum is up. We're stacked positive, which is what we're looking for. We recently had a momentum squeeze, which is what we love. The stock fired to the upside. That's this green arrow. That's also one of our buy signals, although we prefer to get in whenever it's squeezing. And you can see we had green on green with a buy signal here. And check it out, over the last week, we're up 3%. So these are the things we're looking at. And again, red on red and you're dead. So here we had a red on red range. The stock went sideways. Again, red on red keeps us out of the stock, goes sideways. Green on green with a buy signal, time to consider getting back in. That's what the indicators do. Hope you like this part of the technical analysis. This trip reminded me of why I invest, because investing is not just about money, it's about freedom. Freedom to live, to travel, to ride through chaos, and to create stories that no one else can copy. While Nepal was in revolution, while buildings burned, while a boulder nearly ended me, my account still grew $500,000. That is the power of having a system and the discipline to trust it. Here's the choice. You can keep reacting to fear, waiting for the perfect moment, and missing compounding. Or you can build a system, stay invested, and buy back your freedom, one investment at a time. I share every trade, every move inside Patreon and Discord. No hype, just discipline, receipts, and results. The only question is, are you ready to get off the sidelines? If you are ready to stop watching from the sidelines and start stacking profits, the links are below. I'll see you on the inside.